This is the Horse Radio Network.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller-Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us.
No, I'm like, people are texting me about Christmas. I'm like, do not text me about Christmas. That is not a discussion I am having. What do you want for Christmas? I want Tractor Supply gift cards.
Oh, gift cards are the best gifts.
Yeah, like don't try to guess. Don't send me a sweater I don't want. Just leave me alone or give me a Tractor Supply gift card. Those are the options. And leave me alone is a fine option to take. But by the time I get to this time of year, every year, I am so burned out and anxious that I can't consider Christmas at all. It happens every year. Doesn't matter what. It just...
Oh, see... Yeah, I've got the kids are still little yet, so they're really into Christmas.
And I don't mind buying for kids, but I don't really need my in-laws like on my case about what I want for Christmas. Nothing. I want you to leave me alone. That's my Christmas present. Don't talk to me. Don't perceive me.
Don't perceive me. I actually had a real-time conversation with my mother-in-law just the other day, and I said, well, what do you want to do? I said, we've got the kids, right? Do you want to just focus on them this year and get each other something small? And she said, yes, that sounds great. I said, perfect. Because then, I mean, I love my mother-in-law, but I don't need another sweater I'll never wear.
In the wrong size again? Really? Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty good for the most part. But honestly, if it's like, I have an Amazon wish list and it's not necessarily stuff you have to buy on Amazon. It's just so I can like keep it all in one place. And it's all having to do with me and the horses. Let's be honest. Get me an Amazon gift card. Get me a Smart Pack gift card, a Coro Shop gift card. Like, just let me get it myself.
Real. If I have a Dover gift card, I sit on that until all the clearances come out. And then, boy, I fill up that cart. I'm like, look at all the stuff I got. I'm so smart.
Yeah. Well, and have you been using all the stuff that you got at Equine Affair?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of the promotional stuff. Yeah. Actually, yes, I have had a lot of fun with the stuff I got at Equine Affair, and I'm actually really impressed with myself for number one, for buying it, because as we both know, I have a tendency to be very thrifty, but hopefully not penny wise, pound foolish. I had tried to spend my pennies very well. So I got the Cavallo hoof boots for Ben, because he's used to really sandy soil, and up here in North Florida I have more clay and it's much harder. So I tried him out in the hoof boots and it was just wonderful. Oh, I was so thrilled. And I always thought they would be difficult to use. I thought, who's going to have the time to wedge on hoof boots? Oh my God. It's so much faster than like polo wrapping. It's like in the same vein as popping on galloping boots. It's just, it just slips right on. If it doesn't slip on, it doesn't fit. So that's good to know. It slips right on and you do 2 Velcros and you're done. The boot is on. And he never gave it a second thought. He never cared. I was like, what's he going to do? Nothing. He's going to do nothing.
I did the same thing with Delight when we first took him barefoot after I got him. And I got the Cavallo Trek boots, which are the ones I recommended to you. And we took him for a walk around the neighborhood. He not only didn't care about them, but he actually was walking with a little bit of a happy step. Like, he loved them. So now I keep one in my trailer. If he loses a shoe, if we go on a trail ride, I put it on.
I love that. And I'm going to start taking Ben for walks finally. So I'll be able to do that because the main road is Lime Rock, and that would be really hard for him. But with these boots, he'll be able to do it. So I'll be able to take him for hand walks and introduce him to the neighborhood finally, and he'll have boots on. So that'll be really, really fun.
That's so exciting.
And what else did I get?
And you fixed your saddle.
Because you are so perceptive and wonderful at saddle fitting. And I still live in 1990 where you just have a saddle in the back of your truck and it goes on every horse regardless. So that doesn't work anymore. And I got the saddle tree that you recommended for the baits I'm riding in. And he just moved right out. It was night and day. Just like
night and day. And you're going to see he builds some muscle where he didn't
Right.
have it before. So you're going to end up having a better,
I
healthier
am
horse.
thrilled. I'm so
Yay.
excited. Like those are the, I told you when I bought this stuff, I was like, I can't believe I'm buying things. And I'm very broke right now because of it. But what matters more than my horse being happy? Like nothing. I can eat noodles. My horse needs to be happy. He's my responsibility. So I'm really happy with it.
Oh, I spent my whole savings on Delight's new saddle.
Right.
Like my whole savings. And now I'm well, I might have an ulcer, but
Right.
he's happy.
And
So
your
there's
ulcer
that.
is so much more manageable than his. So, I mean, it works out.
Exactly. And I don't bite nearly as much as he does when he's uncomfortable. So it's definitely the better.
You
the better
prevented
fit.
ER visits, untold billing, So you really, you saved yourself. It was an investment in your future as well. And your family's future.
That's true. He does have a nice little buck.
Right?
He's a nice little
You're like,
happy
I can
little
be
buck.
around for years to come to take care of my family. Or I cannot buy this saddle. Those are the options.
And you know what the nice thing is too? Because I put in the money for the custom panel. So like recessed shoulders, he's got like a rear wedge because he's got a smaller back. So like there's no pressure on his lower back whatsoever. Like this boy has no excuse. And I could probably... No, I'll definitely have the saddle for like his whole life. So, and further, like I will, again, I think I've said this before, but like my saddles will be, if I were to be buried, they'd be buried with me. Like they'll be heirlooms.
I'm appreciative of the advances in science and culture and saddle fitting, that you can do something like have a 100% comfortable saddle and not go, that's a problem with, everything's got a little to it. I'm appreciative that this exists. What I want to see is 100% or 50% customizable saddles, so that you have done all this work to make him comfortable. And if in 15 years you have another horse who doesn't need the rear wedge, for example, that's something that should be fairly easily altered so that...
Well, actually, I'm so glad we need to have my friend Sabina on, because they actually have a saddle that they're making that can be customized by the horse owner. So that's something to talk about in maybe a future episode, because she's dying to come on and talk to us.
That if that were to become the norm, and it wasn't too difficult, or maybe you could pay somebody a little bit if it was kind of difficult, because I swore a lot of swears whilst changing the gullet on that Bates, and it's the second time I've done it in 6 weeks time, and it didn't go great, and I was quite angry with it, and at one point I walked away from it. And I was very emotional. So it would be great if it was either not like soul crushingly difficult to do, or if somebody could do it for, say, I don't know, $50.
Well, and it's one of those things too, like with the more customizable it is, right? You have to have the education of the rider with it, because they might customize it incorrectly. Right. So there is that they're battling, or that I would be, as somebody who evaluates saddle fit for a living. That would be something I would be concerned about. It would be somebody, because I just got a message from one of my clients. I adore him immensely. It's been over a year since he's had his saddle evaluated, and he did get a new saddle, and it's been wonderful for him and his horse. So now he wants to invest in like a long-term, more high-end saddle. And the question he shot me was, should I get a shin pad temporarily before buying a new saddle? And I said, well, why? Like, if your saddle is currently fitting you and your horse well, why would you add in a shim? Because that's going to just rock the boat. Like, what makes you think you need the shim? And I'll tell you right now, what's alarming is that is most people's opinion, is like, they want a Band-Aid fix. They want, oh, we'll just try this, we'll try that. But sometimes they make the problem worse.
Yeah. You can just try this and that. That's how I'm fixing up my house, right? Like, we have a back doorknob that's kind of messed up, and it finally has made it very clear it has to be replaced or we can't use the back door anymore. I'm not at all mad that I spent a year slamming that door shut and forcing it to work. I bought a year of extra life out of that dead doorknob, and I'm not pissed. But that is not how I should approach, say, saddle fit. I should not try to buy another year out of something by slamming it and making it work better by adding pieces. Let's not force the issue. It's either right or it isn't, I guess, is the thing with something on an organic being like a horse.
Yeah. Well, and it's nuanced too, right? Because like you can have it evaluated and you can have everything as wonderful as can be, but then the horse itself also has a say, right? I use this as a prime example. I went to do an evaluation on a woman's horse. She was concerned the horse was showing signs of kissing spine. And I went to go put the saddle on the horse, and the horse saw the saddle and reared. Like,
oh my goodness.
It was bad. It was really, really bad. That was the most aggressive response I'd ever gotten. So the woman started crying. Now, yes, sure, this could have been any saddle, right? No. Because we took out a different saddle, one that I had looked at after I'd measured this horse and said, you know what, this is probably going to be a good fit. And I went to put it on her. Not only did she not rear, she actually fell asleep with it on her, just started dozing. So like, trust me when I say that animals have an opinion about what's going on their backs.
Yeah. Ben's thing, I admit I've only ridden him twice since I came back. I don't even know what I've been doing. Oh, I had to go to Tallahassee. Oh, I went on that cruise. That's right. That happened.
Oh, yeah. Just that tiny little thing. It was so
short. It was 3 nights and all I did was drink. So do I remember it?
Okay, stop. You're literally making me cry. Like, why are you bragging?
I had to go on it. It was I was using up the credits from my 2020 European cruise that didn't happen. And then got rescheduled for 2021, but then didn't, or 2022, but didn't happen because of a war. So yeah, my pestilence and war cruise was the leftover bits for this 3-night Bahamas thing, which it was actually quite nice. But so I've only ridden twice, but Ben had gotten really bad about mounting, which was new. He'd always been a little like, do I want you to mount? Maybe I'll walk away, that kind of thing. But he was like, how about you never get on me, And I was like, this is new and bad. So I'm anxious. I'm going to try to ride this afternoon and see if that has eased up or what, because otherwise under saddle, he's moving completely differently from the way he was, which was like literally just pogo stick horse. It was insane. So now I would just like him to be okay with me mounting,
So that started after you changed the gullet?
No, that's like a continued behavior. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's anticipatory.
Yeah.
Well, good news. I'm coming in February, so we can see if there's something physical going on where like because he might have like a sternal rotation. I mean, there's a lot that could be happening there that might be difficult for when you mount, because when we mount a lot of times we're obviously putting our balance up and over, and sometimes when they anticipate that, they just
and the good news is that if I continue to ride 3 times a month between now and February, it's like no time, it's not like I'm not really waiting.
Oh, no. I don't expect you to wait. Oh my God, please. So I got this new saddle, right? And I'm like, this is so exciting. And it was a week late due to the weather. And I get it. And I'm like panting over it. It's so, so beautiful. And I go to put it on Delight. And Delight throws his body at you when you go to tack him up because he anticipates it hurting because of past experience. Now, at this point, it's behavioral because if I take him outside and do it in the arena, he's completely fine. But on the cross tie or in the stall, he is like, he'll throw a hip at you. He'll try to bite and kick you at the same time. Like it's, and we've obviously had him evaluated and everything's fine. So the second the saddle's on, he's like a puppy dog, right? So I just put the saddle on him I didn't put it exactly where I wanted it to go because, again, he's like trying to bite and kick me at the same time. And so I just took him to graze. I took him on a walk and I just left the saddle on. So he was associating the saddle itself with doing fun things.
I like that.
Because I think for him, and I know he's going to be fine. He's not going to try to buck me off personally. He's never tried that. But he anticipates the arena work, the saddle to be uncomfortable. He experiences pain when he's being ridden in the past. And so everything I've done up to this point is to kind of go back to the beginning and retrain his brain. So he looks forward to it. So he asks to be ridden, and he has. So all of that goes and includes the tacking stuff too. So I'm just kind of using positive reinforcement and kind of just slow but steady. So I haven't ridden him in the new saddle. I'm really looking forward to, but I don't want to push him.
I'm going to do that this afternoon. I'm going to take Ben down my driveway that has some grass to be eaten and tack him up first and let him walk along and do that. I love that idea. And I'll have to take Manny too.
Thank you.
So I will have Ben in one hand.
Your emotional support
Ben's
pony.
Emotional support pony. I couldn't possibly leave him alone. He'd be like, Moo! So... And Manny is a problem because, like, I love Manny and he's hilarious. He forgets things. He has no retention. So, like, if I move, I use electric fence in different configurations, right? To like change where they're allowed to be turned out and things like that. I moved a gate, and the gate has been moved for a solid week. But yesterday, Ben walked out of the open gate and went out into the main pasture area, and Manny was just beside himself. He could not remember where the gate was. He's like, it must be right here. He wasn't even running up and down where a gate had been. It was just the closest area to where Ben was, and he just could not imagine going up to an open spot and galloping through it. Just
because it would have been too far away from his little boyfriend.
He just he's a very special horse. Like, needs a special teacher.
Aw. Or you need a third horse, something that's going to keep him busy while you take Ben out.
Yeah.
You want to murder me right now.
I know you're right. I know that's how it works, right? Like, I feel like if I ever reach the point where I really wanted to take Ben to shows, which I don't know if that'll ever really come to fruition. But if it did, I feel like I would have to get another mini to leave at home with Manny. But then what is Ben upset that I'm taking him to a show without his mini friend? You see, I need 4 horses? Is that what's happened? No. I'm not sure what to do. The Godolphin Arabian had a cat. He didn't, you know what I mean? Like Sham, our wonderful friend from King of the Wind, Marguerite Henry told us he had a cat named Grimalkin. And he was fine with his cat friend. Thank you. I do have a lot of allergies right now. He was fine with his cat friend. So why do we have to keep buying horses for our horse friends? This wonderful foundation stallion of the entire thoroughbred breed he was fine with a cat. It was fine.
You know what? It's funny. Like, Ferris loves cats. Like, he absolutely adores them. He would be fine with it. But when I was in California for the Monty Roberts join up, and we were doing this whole movement thing, and I'd asked him. I said, I have this pony. He's terrified of the trailer.
When you said the Monty Roberts movement in California, do you know the end of the 40-Year-Old Virgin, where they're all like singing and waving banners and singing the Age of Aquarius?
Live of the Aquarius.
I feel like that's what you were doing.
That
sounds amazing.
I would 100% go for there. It was really, really cool. First of all, the property is ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And since I've been there, they actually added a mountain obstacle trail course.
That sounds really scary.
Which is, you could board your horse there. Like, people can board their horse at Monty Roberts' facility.
But that sounds frightening to me. I don't want to do mountain obstacles.
No, I mean, they put out like little bridges and then like, big trees and like rock areas. Like, so you can, it's not in the mountains. It's just like the obstacles you'd find in the mountains.
As a theme park
Exactly.
fan, I
And
am more
it's-
comfortable with simulated mountains than real ones. This is acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, it's real trees and rocks and stuff, but yeah. They do have mountains that you can ride in there, but there's mountain lions, so, like, would not recommend for me,
That's very scary.
personally. I know Debbie, Monty's daughter, does ride out there and does take people out there, but not to digress, but when I was out there, he told me his piece of advice was to get my pony a goat and just bring the goat with me in the trailer.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess because goats are small, they're not too loud, right? They don't holler. They just make goat noises. So you could leave it in the stall while you were out showing or whatever.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily going to focus on that as like the fix-all to the trailer things. However, that being said, I would like a couple of small goats when I have my property because they could eat all the poison ivy.
I really feel like in the coming, like in the summer, I'm going to get some mini goats because that's when the poison ivy comes up here. Like it's gone now and you would never know it was here. But in the summer, it freaked me out because I've actually never had poison ivy on my property before because I've always been on like pasture land or swampland. But now I'm in the forest and there are different scary plants here. I didn't know what poison ivy really looked like.
Oh, it's everywhere.
It's very frightening. And then it kind of vanished in fall. So I said, okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. So I guess goats it is. And the mini goats are cute. Are you going to get mini goats or? Yeah.
They're so cute. And actually, my friend raises them. She breeds them and raises them. And she has said to me that the reason she has the goats is because they're better than a dog. They're like friendlier. They're sweeter. They love people. But they're less maintenance than a dog.
Dogs are high maintenance. We were talking about how we don't have a dog right now and how that's kind of relaxing, which feels like the sacrilegious thing to say. But dogs really do. And you have 3 dogs that must feel like 6,000 dogs the way they manhandle you.
They're awesome. For the most part, it's fine because we're like a well-oiled machine. I expect nothing less from my family. No, they're great. And having 3, I just, you choose the leader and then everybody follows. So we've got a method, but they are high maintenance. And I'll tell you right now, the dog vet bills are way more expensive than horse
small
vet
animal
bills.
vet bills are ruinous. Yes. And when you try to buy anything
and we just found
yourself, you go to the pet store and they're like, we have 8,000 kinds of pet treat. I'm like, okay, but I need something, medical. Oh no, you must go to the vet. What? For everything?
I know. Horse people are like, I'll just do it myself. Oh, you need an IM shot
Come
into
on.
the muscle?
It couldn't be
Okay.
easier. Just sell me the...
I had to show someone how to do an Adequan shot for their dog. It's so normal for us to do that with the horses. But yeah, no, Gonza blew a cyst like a week or so ago and has been dealing with that. And now, unfortunately, the cyst looks like it's relatively fast growing and it's in a rough area, let's just say near the spine and the tail.
Yep.
So with his hip dysplasia, we have to excise it. So that's going to be a fun little bill right before Christmas.
Yeah, I had a cyst situation with a beagle and it was yeah, a mess. They're a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. High maintenance. So
goats, we've all agreed. All right, we're going forward.
Yeah, it's
and
goats
I really
for the win.
want somebody posted this in. We have our Facebook group, right? The Adulting with Horses Facebook group, and I have a reader group which I will not share the name of because it's in the backs of my books, and you're just gonna have to read my books if you want to be in it. But somebody shared the cutest goat milk soap that somebody had done. Yeah, like a little Christmas pony in. And it revived all of this interest that I have in, I would really like to make goat milk soap. Don't ask me why. All right. I get these weird ideas and I would like to make scented candles. I would just love this. I feel like nothing would fit into my busy lifestyle more than getting super into dairy products. And
are you gonna go milk the goat?
I gotta go milk. I have a book due, but if I don't milk my goats and make candles today, my orders won't go out. I'm an idiot.
I would do it for the raw goat's milk because that's a wonderful probiotic for the dogs and the cats. And you can probably even actually feed it to the horses.
Dairy for horses?
I have
you
to
check
check that one. I have to fact check that one. But the dogs and cats, absolutely.
What about me? And cheese, goat cheese.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so easy
What
to
do
make
you do?
goat
Just
cheese.
leave it out in the sun?
I wouldn't recommend that for any cheese.
That's how you make cheese.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Have you ever read the thing like different climates indicate what kind of dairy products a culture created, right? So in the hot Middle East, they came up with yogurt. And in the cold, north, they have hard cheeses. And then in France, the greatest place on earth, they have every kind of dairy product because they're amazing. And they have caves and perfect temperate weather. So if I leave goat's milk out, it will turn into something.
Yeah, you have to leave it out, but I don't know about
that
putting
would be
it
the
in
runny
sun.
kind, runny cheese. Is that disgusting?
I don't know. I just I am lactose intolerant.
Right.
So.
I always become super good friends with people who are lactose intolerant. And then I talk way too much about cheese. This is my whole life. I always talk too much about cheese and ice cream, my two favorite things. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the times I've talked too much about cheese and will in the future.
Listen, I love cheese. I love it with an unholy passion, but I can't. My body hates it. Okay.
Yeah.
Fun fact, my mom didn't tell me I was lactose intolerant until I was in my 20s.
So she knew?
I suffered my entire life. I would have massive bouts of running for the bathroom and finding a random bathroom while sitting on the beach and being miserable for hours, all because I didn't know I could have mozzarella sticks without repercussions. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I hate my mom. Yeah. She was like, I thought you knew. I'm like, why would I know?
So goats.
Anywho. Thank you for being a little weird with us, Horse Girl. If you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your player of choice. Follow us on Instagram at Adulting with Horses Podcast, or even better, join our Adulting with Horses Clubhouse on Facebook, where you can become part of the show. Also, it's a great place to meet other horse crazy women.